Hello everyone, it is Commander Spotlight, and today we're going to go over our white-black Orzhov Commander deck. It is an Aristocrats style life gain, life drain deck. Our commander is Bartolome del Presidio. The name of the deck is Bart's Sacrifice. Point of the deck is to get Bart out, sacrifice a bunch of creatures to make him really big and make him a threat so that he is a target. But that is not how we win. Point of the deck is to lower our opponent's life total while keeping ours stable to eventually finish them off with Torment of Hellfire. So to get that done, we are going to need a lot of mana. We do have some ramp stuff here. Smothering Tithe, Game Changer, will give us tokens. This is also another card that's going to be targeted very often. Use your Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, on Ulamog, which works great in this deck because there will be a lot of creatures that we control that die. And Cryptghast. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add one additional black to your mana pool. So that's how we're going to get our mana. Now we need to be able to draw to get those cards. There are a few ways to draw here. We have this enchantment that gives you a card draw. Enchanted Land has tap, pay 1 life, draw a card. Since we're going to be gaining life, we'll be able to pay the life. Skull Clamp, be able to equip this to our tokens because this deck has quite a bit of token generation as well to draw 2 cards. Relic Vial, a bit more expensive than Skull Clamp, and you can only do it once. Priest of Forgotten Gods, not only is this card draw, it's a sack outlet, and it also makes your opponents each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature, and it gives you mana. So this is an all-around great card for this deck. Keen Duelist, you choose a target opponent and you both reveal the top card of your library. You each lose life equal to the mana of the card revealed by the other player, so it drains. You also lose life, but you end up drawing a card. Brina the Demagogue. When a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than any other of your opponents, the attacking player draws a card. So if you're the one attacking, you draw. If not, you put 2 1/1 counters on a creature you control. And of course, our card that steals stuff. When an opponent attacks you or a planeswalker you control, exile the top card of that player's library. You may play that card as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as it were mana of any other color. Of course, every single one of my decks has something that steals. So we have our card draw, we have our ramp. We do need some form of protection to keep us alive, so we have a few cards. Citadel Siege, I never choose the top one for the counters. The bottom one, at the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, tap target creature that player controls. So that's a great way to keep a big threat tapped. Ghostly Prison, it protects us. They have to pay 2 for each attacking creature you control. If they manage to get through Ink Shield, not only will it prevent damage, but it will also generate a lot of tokens for us. Windborn Muse, again, making them pay more to attack us. Selfless Squire, when it enters the battlefield, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Whenever damage that would be dealt to you is prevented, you put that many 1/1 counters on Selfless Squire. And then Teza, Envoy of Ghost. It has protection from creatures, so it can just be a blocker. And whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, destroy that creature, and you make a 1/1 white black spirit creature token. So it incentivizes people to not attack you. To maintain our life total, we do have a few cards that do provide life gain. We have Drana's Emissary. Not only do we gain in life, but it also pings an opponent. Nighthawk Scavenger. It's got Death Touch and Lifelink and Flying, a lot of evasion. Kingspin Pet, it has Extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay either white or black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. Daxos, when a creature enters or dies, you gain a life. So we are going to be sacking a lot of creatures. So we're going to be gaining quite a bit of life. And then Tithe Drinker, it has Lifelink and Extort as well. So while we're gaining life, we need to make sure our opponents are losing life. And how do we do that besides attacking? Well, we have cards like Tender Remedy, prevents them from gaining life. Enduring Tenacity, so when we gain that life, target opponent loses that much life. And this creature, when it dies, it comes back as an enchantment. Sanguine Bond, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So again, just like Enduring Tenacity. Vindictive Vampire, when a creature dies, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain a life. Zulaport Cutthroat, the same as the Vindictive Vampire, but it's not a vampire. Cruel Celebrant, when this or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. So that's 3. And then whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So there's a lot of redundancy in here. Veto also gives all your creatures lifelink. So if you swing out with all your tokens, that's a life that you gain, and then you can either target whoever you want to take out. I've been talking about tokens a lot, so we do have some token generation. My favorite one in this deck is Hidden Stockpile, because we are going to be sacrificing creatures, and at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield, you make a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token, and it itself has a sacrifice outlet. Doom Traveler, when it dies, you make a token, so you get 2 sack outlets. Requiem Angel, whenever another non-spirit creature token you control dies, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token on the battlefield. So this works well with a lot of our token generators, because this does not care if it's a token or not. So we sacrifice that servo, you get another spirit. And if you do it on your turn, you sacrifice that servo, you get a spirit. You sacrifice that spirit, you'll get a servo at the end. They work well together. Hollowed Spirit Keeper, when it dies, put X 1/1 white creature spirit tokens with flying onto the battlefield, where it's the number X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. You're gonna have a lot of them. Teza, Opulent Oligarch. It's got Death Touch. At your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. So you're gonna need a lot of clue tokens, because we're gonna be draining our opponents. And then when a clue you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, make a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying, and it only triggers once each turn. We do have a sack outlet for the artifact. It is in our commander, so we can use those clues to make spirits and put 1/1 counters on our commander. Teza Karlov, this was the original commander of the deck, but I opted to go for Bart, because 1, it's only a 2-drop. Bart is. Teza's 4-drop. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a opponent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink. So this works well with our drainers. So the Zulaport Cutthroat that pings everyone when a creature dies. So that'll actually happen twice. And then Felisa, Fang of Silverquill. It has Mentor, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, create X tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature tokens. So we do have some 1/1 counters. I'm thinking about removing this and swapping it out for something else. On top of all the tokens we're going to be making, we need to somehow bring things back once they get destroyed. So we do have some recursion. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord, can return a creature card with converted mana cost X. So when you drop Sorin down, you can do a maximum of 4. Revival brings back a card, target creature card from your graveyard with mana cost 3 or less to the battlefield, or you can double your life total. So if you do this and you're at 40, you mean that you gain 40 life, and then if you have Veto on the battlefield, target opponent loses that much life, you could kill someone right away. Adrakar Valkyrie, you can tap it when a target creature other than Adrakar Valkyrie dies this turn, return that card to the battlefield under your control. You could use this to take your opponent's things. Athrio's Shroud Veiled. At your end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control again. It doesn't say you put the coin counter on your creature, so you could take someone else's stuff. Athrio's got a passage. This one makes it to where a creature you control, or you own dies, it goes to your hand unless target opponent pays 3 life. And Whisper Blood Liturgist, which is also in our mono black deck. You tap, sacrifice 2 creatures, return target creature card from your battlefield to the graveyard. So that's a recursion because our stuff is going to be dying. We do have some removal. Well, maybe quite a bit of removal and disruption. Split Up is one of our board wipes, pseudo board wipes. I think we don't have a lot aside from Torment of Hellfire. Grave Pact, you're going to be sacrificing a lot of creatures, so let's make other players sacrifice creatures. Soul Snare exiles creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control. You got to pay 1. Sudden Spoiling, this is great because it has Split Second and it makes creatures target player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 0/2. Anguish Unmaking exiles a non-land permanent, but you do lose 3 life. Source to Plowshare, exile target creature. They gain life equal to its power. Oblation, this just shuffles a permanent, non-land permanent into their library, and then they draw 2 cards. So it's a good way to temporarily get rid of a permanent that's bugging everyone. Final Payment is a sack outlet as well to destroy target creature. Vindicate, just to destroy the permanent. High Priest of Penance, when it is dealt damage, you may destroy target non-land permanent. Ailey has Death Touch. It's a sack outlet to gain you life, and then you pay 1 white and black, sacrifice a creature, exile target non-land permanent. Activate it if you have at least 10 life more than your starting life total. Teysa Orzhov Scion, you can sacrifice 3 white creatures, remove target creature from the game, and whenever another target creature you control is put into a graveyard from play, you make a 1/1 white spirit creature token. We are going to be making a lot of black and white creatures, so Teysa will get very, very powerful the longer we are in the game. You could also run this as a commander. It's only a 3-drop, but I still prefer Bart. And then Butcher of Malakir. When it or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a life, or a creature. So we do have a lot of ways to make our opponents get rid of their stuff, a lot of ways for us to gain life, a lot of ways for us to bring things back from the graveyard. Overall, the deck is meant to get rid of your opponent's resources while building up our board, like most decks do. Bart is not the threat in this deck at all. It's meant to get big, to put a focus on him, when in reality, we're just going to drain our opponents. We do have a few lands that are very good utility out in this deck. We're going to be using our graveyard a lot, but we don't want our opponents to, so we have Bajuka Bog, get rid of their stuff. We have Westvale Abbey, that will make us tokens. If we have a lot of mana, it's also a good mana sink that eventually turns into the big boy, Ormondal, Profane Prince. Flying, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste. So unless they exile it, or do -X/-X, it's going to be on the field for a while. And then Vault of the Archangel, it gives all your creatures Death Touch and Lifelink. So we're going to have a lot of little 1/1s, and if we give them all Death Touch and Lifelink, well, they can each take out one big giant threat. What would you change in this deck? Excuse me, what would you add to the deck? And would you keep Bart as a commander, or would you make Teysa the commander? Click the playlist to watch our other, excuse me for the coughing, it's allergies out here. Click the playlist for our commander spotlights to check out our other videos, as well as our sealed product opening where we open up Pokemon packs, Magic the Gathering packs, and other sealed product. Check out our website. If you'd like to purchase any items in our TCG Player store, please click like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.